Approximately 3:45 a.m. on July 9, 2018, Carla and Alan Rutherford's residence at 8 Greening Court in Dundas was intentionally set ablaze by an unknown perpetrator. Carla and Alan were peacefully asleep in their home at the time. Based on evidence, it would become clear to investigators that this fire was set with one purpose: was to kill Alan and Carla Rutherford. Carla was unable to escape the blaze. EMS and firefighters tried to save Carla's life. However, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Alan was able to escape the fire, but not before trying to save his wife and family and dogs. Alan was gravely injured. He was transported to hospital by EMS with life-threatening injuries, and he would die hours later. Today, after an extensive investigation by the Hamilton Police Service Major Crime Unit homicide detectives, and with the assistance of the Ontario Fire Marshal's Office, the investigative team is announcing that Richard Taylor, 42 years old, of Oakville, has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of his mother, Carla Rutherford, and his stepfather, Alan Rutherford. Richard Taylor was arrested yesterday, January 23rd, without incident here in Hamilton by the Hamilton Police Service Major Crime Unit. Richard Taylor has a first court appearance today, and I believe that's happening later this afternoon at the Johnson Pinkett Courthouse, located at 45 Main Street East in Hamilton. We are not seeking any other individual in relation to this crime. We believe Richard Taylor acted alone, and the murder of his mother and stepfather was financially motivated. I would like to take a moment to thank the members of this community who have assisted us in this investigation. This was a complicated and lengthy investigation, including the execution of over 25 judicial authorizations to date, and we ask that the media respect the family's privacy as they continue to mourn the tragic death of their parents and the arrest of their sibling. Anyone with more information in this case is encouraged to call Detective Ben Adams, who's here on my left, of the Major Crime Unit, at 905-546-3836. Or to provide information anonymously, please through Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477, or submitting your tips online. Given that the accused is now before the court, I am unable to comment any further on the investigation and the evidence before the court at this time, but I will be happy to take a couple of questions.
Where exactly was he arrested?
He was arrested here in Hamilton yesterday on Barton Street, not far from his place of employment.
He's a teacher, we understand, is that correct?
That's information I would ask that you follow up with an employer. Thank you.
Had Hamilton Police been speaking to his employer? Because I'm sure parents had some safety concerns about a teacher at their school being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
At this point, we've had no contact with the employment. There's been no level of concern brought to us. We have had no concern for that. Anybody in the community was not at risk. This was targeted, and it remains that way.
And what are the results of the Ontario Fire Marshal's investigation? Do we know the cause of the fire?
So the results of that report remains evidence at this time. I cannot disclose that.
Can you say anything more about what the financial benefit would have been that he was seeking?
It's a good question, but it forms evidence of the case, and I can't say anything more about that.
Did you say he already appeared in court, or he's appearing this afternoon? Sorry.
He has an appearance today. Last light check, which was just before 2 o'clock. He had not yet been arraigned, so it should be sometime this afternoon. Can
you describe his relationship with his mother and stepfather?
It was, as we know early on, they got along. There was no indication of any strife early on, and that's about all I can say about that at this time.
Can you say what led you to accuse Richard Taylor of killing his mother?
That would, again, that's part of the evidence in the case, and that forms our grounds for arrest.
Can you speak at all to the rest of the family's reaction to the arrest?
It's difficult. They're in a very difficult spot. Naturally, the incident itself is horrific in nature, and so they're grieving the loss of their parents. But at the same time, now they have to grasp the idea that one of their own family members is responsible for this crime. So they're grieving, and they're trying to find some help the best way they can. And again, they've asked for privacy right now, and so they can find some time to recover.
There was some talk about the fire being intentionally set and maybe some indication that it was professionally done, or there may have been a different party, but you're saying now that it's just Mr. Richards is the sole suspect?
So at the beginning of the investigation, as I had indicated back in July, that this was going to be lengthy and complicated. At that point in time, we kept a lot of doors open to different avenues with respect to the investigation. That potentially could have been one of them, but it was quickly learned by us that that was never, it never came to fruition. It was always Richard Taylor, and it remains him.
Was there something in his personal life that made him financially unstable?
It's a good question. It speaks to the motive, and I can't comment any further on it.
Any sort of information, and forgive me if I missed this, about how the fire was set and how the
fire was set and originated in the bedroom of the home. That was disclosed back then. How it was set and how it was carried out remains evidence in the case. I won't comment on that.